डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Namaskar dear students, myself Zeel Sagar Shah, working as an assistant professor in School of Computer Science in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. We are in the lecture series of object-oriented programming using C++, in which today's our part 3 is Introduction to Classes and Objects. So our today's agenda is object as function argument, friend function, friend class, static data member and member function. So what is object as function argument? Let's see. We have three types of object as function argument. First is pass by value, pass by reference and pass by pointer. So what all this mean? Let's see one by one. First is pass by value. What is pass by value? A copy of the entire object is passed to the function, which is also called pass by value. The object is passed to the function by making a copy of the original object. This means that the function works with a copy of the object, and any changes made inside the function will not affect the object of the class, that is original object. Now what is pass by reference? The function receives a reference to the original object, so it allows to modify the object's data. This avoids the overhead of copying the entire object and reflects the changes made to the original object. This is the object pass by reference. Now what is pass by pointer means? Instead of passing an object by reference, you can pass a pointer to an object. What does this mean? This allows the function to manipulate the original object, and it provides a clear mechanism and for checking if the pointer is valid or not. That is, it is a null pointer or not. So I hope now you get the idea of how we pass our object as our pass by value, pass by reference and pass by pointer. So let's see one by one the example of each object as function argument. So I have created one class which is number. In public specifier I have one data member, that is int value, and I have member function, that is add by value. In that I have one parameter, that is number num. What is number? Number is a class name over here. So we are passing our class name as our function argument. Okay, num dot value is equal to, okay. Now in int main, what I have done, I have initiate one object, that is num1, and num1 dot value is equal to 30. So before function call, num1 dot value is 30 only. Now what the magic over here is, when I call add by value num1, the num1 dot value will not change. Why? Because the copy of the function is passed, not the whole object is passed. So let's see the output of it. See, before function call we have 30, and after function call num1 dot value is same. Why? Because the object is passed to the function by making a copy of the original object. Okay, so now let's see the pass by reference, and then you will get the difference between pass by value and pass by reference. I've taken the same example as earlier slide. See, int value, now I have changed void add by reference member function. In that I am passing number n% num. So n% is a operator, and why n%? Because n% is a referencing operator, as we seen in our pointer and reference thing. So why it is? Let's see the difference between this 30 and 40. Why? Because the function receives a reference to the original object, allowing it to modify the object's data. So at first, the before function call num1 dot value is 30, because original value is 30, and when I call add by reference function, the num1 dot value is changed. Why? Because the add by reference is referencing to the add by reference function. Now let's see pass by pointer. This works same as our pass by reference, but over here you can see the difference, that is void add by pointer number and asterisk mark. So this is a pointing operator. And how we fetch the value of it? Num, then arrow operator, value is equal to num arrow operator value plus 10. So int main I have num1 dot value is equal to 30. Before function call num1 dot value is 30, and now I have called add by pointer function, and in that I am referencing num1, and then so over here the pointing goes to the void add by pointer function. Instead of passing an object by reference, we can pass a pointer to an object, because this allows the function to manipulate the original object, and it is provide a clear and mechanism for checking if the pointer is valid or not, as we discussed earlier. So when I compile this program, what I will get is my output. Before function call num1 dot value is equal to 30. After function call num1 dot value is 40. So now I hope you get the idea and difference between pass by value, pass by reference, and pass by pointer as our function arguments. This is the very important topic of this unit. So learn carefully. In pass by value, the values does not change in int main. In pass by reference, using referencing operator, the value of number will change. And in pointer, we are using pointing operator, that is asterisk operator. Now let's see the another topic of this class, that is friend function. So according to you, who is friend? A friend is a person who has access to all your personal stuff, right? So the concept of friend is in real is like a same in our C++ language also. So what is friend function? Friend function is a non-member function of a class that has been granted access to all the private members of a class. We simply declare the function within the class by prefixing its declaration with the keyword friend. Function definition must not use keyword friend. We will see one by one these things. Definition of a friend function is specified outside the class body and is not treated as a part of the class. The major difference between member function and friend function is that member function is accessible to the object, while friend function requires object as our parameter. So what is the syntax of friend function? Class ABC. So this is the class. Over here I have one function, that is void xyz, an object of a class, that is ABC. So friend is a keyword, void xyz is a function name, and we are passing our object as an argument. Now let's see the example of friend function. I have taken two data members, int A and int B, and I have one member function, that is void set value. Cout enter value of A, C in A, and cout enter the value of B, C in B. So over here I am taking the input from the user, and now I have taken one friend function, that is keyword friend, float, mean. So float is a return type of a function, mean is a function name, and sample is a object of the class sample, that is sample s. So I have declared my friend function over here. Now now my class is over, and what I have defined my float mean sample s. Now what I am returning, return s dot a plus s dot b divide by 2.0. So this is the average of the two number. And in main I have one object x dot set value. In that I am taking the input from the user, and I have simply printing mean x. So over here the friend function is called. Now let's see the output of it. So when I enter the value 15 and 20, I will get the average as 17.5. Now I hope you get the idea about friend function. Let's see the friend class. Friend class concept is similar like friend function. Friend class is a class that is granted special access to the private and protected members of another class. By default, a class private and protected members cannot be accessed from outside the class. But a friend function is an exception to this rule. Why? Because the friend class is able to access the private and protected members of class that declare it as a friend. So what are the key concepts of friend class in C++? First is access to private and protected members. Second is declaration. Third is friendship is one way. Friendship is not inherited. Friendship is not transitive. So what does all this key concept means? Access to private and protected members. A friend class has access to the private and protected members of another class. This is useful in scenarios where you want a certain access privileges, those members to all the parts of the program. Second is declaration. The friend class is declared inside the class. That is, it gives the access that the declaration uses the friend keyword followed by the class declaration. Third is friendship is one way. Why? Because friendship between two classes is one way unless you explicitly declare the both classes as friends of each other. Meaning, if a class A is a friend of class B, it doesn't mean that class B is a friend of class A in our C++ language. Now, fourth is friendship is not inherited. Friendship is not inherited by derived class. We will see the derived class, base class in coming lectures. For a time being, just focus on the concept of friend class. So, if a base class grants friendship to a class, that the derived class does not automatically becomes a friend of that class. Fifth is friendship is not transitive. So what does this mean? If class A is a friend of class B and class B is a friend of class C, that does not mean that class A becomes a friend of class C. Okay, so I hope now you get the details about key concept of friend class in C++. Now what is the syntax of friend class? Class first. So over here I have forward declaration of friend class. Then I have class second. And then I have written some body of the class after that. Friend class first. So I have declared my first class as my friend. So let's see one simple example of friend class. So class B. Class B is a forward declaration of class B. Now I have class A. In that I have one data member, that is int x, and void set x. So I am setting one integer value, that is I am getting the output from the user, that is enter value of x, c in x. And now I have declared my friend class as B. Now what I have done is I have declared one class B, that is void display A. In that I have passed my class A's object over here and accessing value of X from class A to class B, A dot X. So I'm accessing the values of class A over here. Int main, I have created two objects, that is object A and object B. Object A dot setX will call the function of class A, and over here class B can access the private members, that is X of a class A, via object B dot display A and passing my object A, that is passing my object of class A. And when I compile this program, what I will get as my output is enter the value of X is 52, accessing value of X from class A to class B. So over here my friend class has been called. Now let's see static data members. A type of data member that is shared among all objects of a class is known as static data members. The static data members is defined in the class with a word static. It is visible only in the class in which it is defined, but its lifetime. So for example, when my object is created for a particular class, my static variable has been declared and the life of a static variable has started. And when I destroy my class, then the life of my static variable is not died. Why? Because the visibility of my static data member is for lifetime. So the main difference between normal data member and static data member is that each object has its own variable of data member. On the other hand, the static data member is shared among all the objects of a class. Now what is the difference between normal and static data member? We will see as one picture. That is, when we take 3 normal data members of each object, the memory is wasted too much for the same data member. Now with a second image, I have taken one static data member, that is n is 200, and that 200 is shared between 2 objects, that is object B1 and object B2. Now what is the syntax of static data member? Class, class name. In public specifier, I have declared static is a keyword, data type and member name. Now let's see simple example of static data member so that you can get an idea how static data member work. So I have class number in which I have static int C, that is C is a data member and static is a keyword, and void count is my member function. And over here what I am doing, I am incrementing my C variable and just printing my C variable. Now in int number, scope resolution operator C is equal to 0. Why scope resolution operator? Because C is our static data member, so that we can use scope resolution operator over here. In int main, I have declared 3 objects, that is A, B and C. At first A dot count. So over here at A dot count, my void count has been called, and C++. At first it has shown 1, B dot count 2, and C dot count 3. Why? Because initially number C is 0, and when I call a dot count function, my C variable is incremented. Now you can see after cout and L, the A object has been finished, but the data member C is still alive. Why? Because the program has not terminated yet. Now I have called B object, and again I have called B dot count function, and you can see the things in our output. Now this is the last topic of our today's lecture, that is static member function. What is static member function? This is just one copy of the static member is created in the memory for the entire class. All the objects of class share the same copy of static member function. A static function can access only other static numbers. It is called using class name and scope resolution operator. So this is the syntax of static member function, that is class name, then scope resolution operator and function name. Where one of the object changes the value of data member variable, the effect is visible to all the objects of the class. Now you will get how static member function works in C++. First, I have created one class number. In that I have one static data member. Always static member function always have static data members. No other members are there in static member function. Remember this. Static void count. In count function I have incremented x plus plus. X is a static data member, and static void display cout value of x. So over here also we are using our static data member, that is x. And in the last, what we have done over here is int number scope resolution operator x is equal to 0. Now what I have done, first I have number, so this is a class name, and scope resolution operator, then display our static void display function, and in that first we have getting 0 as our output, and I have given number scope resolution operator count function, number scope resolution count function. So over here 2 times my count function has been called, and when I display it, what I will get as my output is, first I will get as x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 2. Now I hope you get all the things in this unit. In the next unit, we are going to learn about constructors and destructors in our C++ language. Thank you for watching video. स्वाध्यायः परमः